যে ভুল বুঝিলা কোন হারণে ভালোবাসার দাম না দিলা তুমি কোন দুঃখের পাই ভালোবাসার দাম না দিলা আশায় আছি তোমার লই বন্ধু মেখান সুখেরই ঘর আশায় আছি তোমার লই বন্ধু মেখান সুখেরই ঘর সুখের আশায় আরে দুঃখ দিলা সুখের আশায় আরে দুঃখ দিলা কোন হারণে ভালোবাসার দাম না দিলা তুমি কোন দোষণ পাই ভালোবাসার দাম না দিলা মধু হই হই আরে বিষ হওয়াইলা মধু হই হই আরে বিষ হওয়াইলা কোন কারণে ভালোবাসার দাম না দিলা তুমি কোন দোষণ পাই ভালোবাসার দাম না দিলা
Is it okay?
Thank you.
One more.
Presentation is passing. After the workshop.
if you off it then I can sing a song actually it's from my passion from my sometimes wife's temptation sing a song. When we move around together, my wife always insists to sing a song everywhere. Either it may be in train, it may be in bus, or it may be in street beggars. A beggar is singing, then she insists me to join her. Sing together, just to enjoy and be happy. Nothing else. And actually, I sing for my students always. I found that when hired singers sing, students are not so much happy because they don't get fun except the lyrics and the music, right? But as a teacher, when we are on the stage, when we perform together, huge clap and burst out laughing and enjoyments are there. That's why I dedicate all my singing and songs to my beloved students. Actually, that is my tricks. Let's come to the presentation. Oh, it's already went away, maybe. No worry. After the presentation, I will sing another song, okay? Yeah, anyone help me? Actually, this is a policy gap research, small research on just one policy that is formulated in 2015 for the domestic worker welfare and protection. Safety protection for the domestic worker, but in the small presentation actually I couldn't tell you detail, but as a social worker, what was my role? Actually that was a consultancy work. There was no chance to input a social worker thought, but I just took it as this is a policy in a list is social care policy debate. That's why I just brought it here, that I should share something. This is building social care system and challenges for social work in contemporary society. That is the broad theme of the workshop. And my turn is experiences of domestic workers protection and welfare policy 2015 in Bangladesh. Welcome you all to this workshop. In background actually there is nothing except the numbers. 10.15 million domestic worker male and women, both urban and rural parts. You know, in Bangladesh, approximately 18 crore, 180 million people in our country. But I will describe it after just showing it, and that would be, I think, more enjoyable. Actually, I did this with my team through some desk review, desk research, and data from the secondary same thing happening, and some interview of the person and domestic worker, employers, and key informal interviews. There is the situation indeed in our country, but it's gradually being changed. It's gradually being changed because with the turn of modernization with the shift of family pattern from our nurse family to nuclear family, single family with husband, wife, and one kid. That's happening in our country, especially in the city urban areas. So some snapshots are here, some ideas are here, what is existing scenarios. It may be little more changes or upgraded current time, but I could give you the slides in your email or Professor Shamini can send it to you for your better understanding. But my concern is in other part. In our country, related to the workers' rights or labor rights, some acts, laws and some policies are there. One is Bangladesh Labor Act 2006. It basically covers the formal worker rights in every aspect. And there is a labor rules, National Occupational Health and Safety Policy. Yesterday that I actually commented on the professor presentation. That policy is just a draft nowadays. Policy is just a literature, nothing else. Because we the people even not aware about the policy. It's just written document. When I went through this intervention or review gap analysis, I just look for the relevant documents, what are available in the internet even or some reports. And lastly, domestic workers protection and welfare policy, it held in 2015. I was involved with the entire process, but matter is that the Ministry of Labor and Welfare, in the dissemination meeting, he openly spoke out that with fun, I cannot go back home today because this policy is formulated, it's done, already declared in the television media. Without domestic worker or maid servant or housemaker, my wife cannot run a single day. So as a minister, when she will see me in the television that I declared that policy, I cannot go back home this night because she will either slap me or beat me with the sandal. He was laughing like that because in our country context, it might be similar in Sri Lanka, in India, some other Asian countries. In our country, we cannot step a single day. Those who are employed, financially solvent, cannot spend a single day without any housemaker or maid servant or someone, house help. It's impossible because we have our traditional mindset that someone has to be here, someone should be there to bring my coffee or tea, someone should be there, iron my dress, right? To get the dress to the laundry, someone should be there to just purchase something from the shops, the shopping malls, or groceries and take my children to the school. I will be sitting on the cot, on the sofa, and somebody will be there to make and get ready all the foodstuffs. Actually, that is the mindset in our country. That we can do, like in the Western countries, especially, or Europe and even Eastern countries, developed countries, people are still dependent because wages are very high. It's very difficult to hire someone with a huge pay. But as there are a huge population coming from the rural to urban areas, in a small Dhaka city, you cannot even believe the number of population. As per estimate, it's close to 20 million, 18 million as per statistics, but unofficially people say 3 crore people in Dhaka city, 30 million people in Dhaka city, so you cannot walk around properly. That's why there are many people up there, they can be employed at home, right, at the shops, at the welding shops, especially the children are more right. So my duty was to go through some cap of the policy, but I should say that as I told earlier, policy has itself no legal obligation. So people know without or if they don't follow the rules or the guidelines of the policy, they will not be punished. They won't be harassed by the law enforcement agencies, so they are relaxed. They just, only the researcher follow the policies. Not the stakeholder knows, not the employers knows, or the implemented knows really. There's nothing happening. In the domestic workers' protection welfare policy, there are so many 36 maybe articles, and just I mentioned some of those. It apparently mention all the rights should be protected for the domestic workers, though they are not treated as formal worker. How domestic worker comes in our country, like in my house, it depends on the master or the employer of the house, how the lady or the gentleman will treat the domestic worker. Domestic worker, it's not here, domestic worker can be heard in live-in process, I mean he or she, the boy or girl, live in your house, or live-out process. He or she might live another place with her mom or dad, or in any slum areas, then come to your house for a fixed time, that in the morning, or daytime, or evening time, or from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. or 7 p.m. evening. There is some procedure to hire, or there is some domestic workers, temporary basis, like she at a time is working in 5 houses. She comes to my house at 6 a.m., work up to 8 a.m., then she go for another house, work for 1 hour, then she visit another house for 1 hour just for sweeping and washing clothes and other stuff, right? And the afternoon, her duty might be to take care of the elderly people or the children at home. In the evening, she might come again to my house if I pay double, morning and evening. And they don't have any fixed wages. Somebody pay them 5,000 in a month, somebody pay 1,500 in a month just for sweeping the floor, right, and wash some clothes like this, or take the baby to school and coming receive from the school. It depends on the duties. Like if she does 5 works, she might get 5,000. If she works two items like sweeping the floor and sweeping and the washing dishes and other thing, or cooking stuff like this, then she might get another payment. This is the actual procedure. They don't have any leave system, no medical system. So that's why I shared. If the employer is good, then they are taking care of the domestic worker from the humanitarian ground, that she is like human being as we. So we should provide her some support for the medical or health care, right? Not fixed amount. If she suffer from fever, then I can give her 100 or 200 extra taka to go to the, or 500 to go to the doctor, right? If she has children, then for her children education purpose, the master can give them 500 taka extra at a time, not every month. There are so many procedures, but no leave system. Out of 30 days, she bound to come 30 days. But it's gradually working. So when I talk to the dissemination seminar, I just talk that this domestic worker doing the worst thing, toughest thing in your house, but you are not careful or caring to her at a minimum level from the ground of humanity. So just forget this policy, written policy. As a human being, you should be careful to assign some leaves, duty leaves like 4 days in a month, or 2 days at least in a month, 3 days in a month. Give some extra wages, extra amount just to take care of their babies and the health care, or other facilities might be facilitated. These are the situations just to present same thing written here. In labor law, there are some articles mentioned protecting the rights of the worker, not for the domestic worker, because domestic work is not treated as a formal work in our country. That's why they are deported, and many scholars and the police researchers actually, they put civics put their opinion that either in the labor act a clause should be added for the domestic worker dedicated, or there should have another act should be passed on based on the policy of the domestic workers written. There are some opinions we got from some trade union leaders, some researchers, some rights activists, those who are working for the RMG and other sectors. Some remarks are there. Actually, the basic concern of that, they should have standard wages, working hour, rest period, leaves, work. Just one thing. If the domestic worker live at your home, at your house, problem is you can take rest, you can sleep, your children can sleep, that maid servant make your baby sleep, but you don't let her sleep. That is the problem, 24/7. At least 18 to 20 hours, she has to open eyes at your home when you are sleeping. That's the basic concern. So these are the thing, and as a social worker, I love to be more practical, rather more academic, because in my country, I should say little, social worker has been taught since 50th decade, it's more than 70 years. But the tenure made me crazy, a bit crazy. I got academic challenge from social work discipline, all the degrees from social work. But when I see people actually don't know what is social work, when people devalue social work, I got frustrated. It made me crazy. That's why I declared openly in my country, and the declaration came from Machiko, from 2015 conference from Singapore, Bangkok, Dusit Tani. There was conference. I declared in my lifetime I want to see social work in my country as a profession. I declared till my last drop of blood I will wait for social work to see as a profession in my country. Then the then president, Ruth Stark, actually clapped me a lot and just said me a brave Habib how it's possible, because in Scotland it took 19 years. How come in Bangladesh you want to see social work very soon? Then I replied, I will wait to see social work as a profession. In 2015 I told, up to 2030, if not possible 2041. And I hope by this time it must be happened. Accordingly, I have been with my team doing so many associated works to see social work in our country. There are so many challenges, but still I do believe social work must be profession in our country, in Bangladesh, hopefully. A clap, big clap. If your clap sound is good, it inspired me that my challenge to see social work as a profession must be proved and must be done soon in our country. Accordingly here, because as a social worker, if we cannot pronounce, if you cannot applause properly, if you cannot raise our voice properly, highly, people cannot see our voice. So we have to say together, we are social worker. And I am the promoter of social work everywhere in my country. When I do any public talk, I try to bring all the people together in the same plate of social work. That every people has a heart, and that heart must tend to drum its own heart to pronounce social work, because social work is a holistic discipline. Everywhere there is social work. In psychology, psychiatrists, they can follow some social work. Social work, of course, follows psychological knowledge and other discipline knowledge as a generic practitioner. So let's say together, we are social worker.
We are social workers.
Yes, we are social workers.
We are social workers.
We are the brand promoters. Everywhere, every country, when I visit, I always declare we are social worker, and just that thing, I feel proud to be a social worker. I never feel guilty and shame that I am a social worker, because I did sacrifice many years, many days, many nights to communicate the people, to deliver my lecture, to share my thoughts with the grassroots, with the volunteers, rather dedicating my time for my family. That's why I deserve to be a social worker. But in our country, unfortunately, 70 years gone, still, social work is not a profession. But in my lifetime, it's my challenge, if Almighty keeps me alive, I must bring social work as a profession in our country. It's my challenge. Right? A big clap for the social worker. And that's why we dream, like, let's change ourselves and change the community. If you don't change yourself, if you cannot raise your voice, community can listen your voice to be changed itself, right? That's why we have to raise our voice together. bank change the country. So let ourselves be changed, country automatically be changed, right? And the last thing is valuing everyone's worth and dignity. This is the first basic generic principle of social work. Please value yourself, value others, then the community will be valued, the country will be valued, the whole nation will be valued to the global arena. That's all from my side. Thank you everybody. There are a few questions, but I think you can go for the group discussion through an academic thread, or you can choose and pick, or you can discuss yourself and come and share, right? But I think don't take pressure to go through some academic task discussion coming here. No worry, I don't forget to sing a song again, but after your presentation. Thanks a lot. Thank you everybody. Oh, I'm done. Thank you.
It's time for the